What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday, and you know what that means. We got some CCS action for you, but not just any action. Today is the quarter final, so you know it's going to be a banger. We got Predictive Gaming Odin taking on Sensei Squad. I'm Rye Chains, joined by Elsa the Queen. We're rocking with our hats and hoodies today. You already know how it goes. And are you ready for today's matchup, Elsa?
I am ready, and it's been a really long time since we've been able to cast PGO, so I'm really excited to be able to do it alongside another veteran caster of the CCS who knows kind of the rich history that this team does bring to our league, and so excited for that. And I'm also excited for Sensei Squad because this is one of the most exciting teams that I've casted this split. I was saying to you earlier, Ride Chains, they usually tend to win hard or lose hard, but they'll really surprise you when they win hard. They look really, really good when they do get off to a good start. So I think we're going to have a series on our hands here.
Yeah, this one definitely is one that could go the distance here, and just differently than the regular season. This is going to be a best of five, so it takes 3 games to win the series. We are into the pick ban here coming out, and the bans are flying as Camille Nocturne taken off the table by Sensei Squad and Vigar Thresh taken off the table by PGO.
Yeah, and it seems like probably makes sense to me that these teams have really kind of planned out what exactly they want to take away from the other side. All of these champions that we do see banned are all pretty strong in the current meta. I would say maybe the one that stands out is specifically the Nocturne, which is something that Charizard played last week in the win for PGO against Horizon. So Vol being taken there, and I really think this is Sensei Squad already kind of trying to pinch that jungle pool away from Charizard. Like I said, doesn't necessarily he plays a large variety of picks, but I don't know that he plays them all to a very effective level. So interested to see what they'll come out with here. The Warwick is the one that's kind of like the staple pick, kind of that's the tool, the random pocket pick is what I'm trying to say. Sorry for Charizard in the jungle. So, but Ash for now, which is something that they played last week as well. So I'm liking the Ash and then Wukong too. So that could be in the jungle. I'll stop talking. I've been talking for a long time, but we saw Wukong in the jungle yesterday in the Dorado series. So
Yeah, I mean, I really like Volibear as a pick. This pick is rising in priority a whole lot right now, and it kind of seems like one of the premier junglers, and it can even be played top lane and does so much damage and is very tanky. So definitely like the first pick here. Hecarim is still available, and that's kind of one of the higher tier picks that has come up as well, but has received a few nerfs, so it's dropping a little bit. But Ezreal is going to be the option for
yeah.
Matrix in the AD carry role into this Ashe.
Yeah, and so Matrix Shadow picking up the Ezreal. I think they're just wanting to take it before that second round of bans because that would give PGO the opportunity to pinch the pool even a little bit more. And I mean, I think Ezreal is good against Ashe just as far as being able to have the mobility to survive, even when she has the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. But I feel like the early game is it's going to be paired with Renata Gloss, and I feel like the early game Ezreal kind of gets smash. Maybe not. I mean, I guess if you can land all your Qs, but I really want to go back to the Wukong again because it got buffed just yesterday. I know one of the biggest things about it is now the W can take you over walls, which is a big part of why people are thinking it's a lot stronger in the jungle. So it would be cool if Charizard had kind of would bring this one out. It's an exciting pick to see with the ultimate, just always creating a lot of mayhem. And then Zillion locked in, technically a flex pick, but we did see it surprise playing that in the support role last week as well for PGO. So I anticipate for it to go there again as we get into the next set of bans.
Yeah, and I guess we'll kind of have to see what happens with this jungle pick for PGO here. Obviously, since the squad has the volley bear, it can still go into the top lane, but usually what you see in these competitive picks is going to be jungle and bot lane secured in the first rotation, and then bans coming out to get, favorable matchups in the solo lane. So
Yeah,
kind of what I'm expecting here. As you can see now, mid laners getting banned
yeah.
away, Victor and Corky. Um, you know, what I imagine PGO is gonna do is they're gonna give their counter to top lane just
Oh
because,
yeah.
a lot of talk around that matchup, which we'll get into in a little bit. But nonetheless, I'm I don't know. I'm not too big on Renata right now, or even since she's come out. I think the ultimate's very easy to dodge and it goes very slowly. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about it, but I'm not the biggest fan of Renata just as a champion in general.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of hard. I feel like Renata benefits a lot to me from sort of the tendency to forget the worst times and remember the good times, because when you do hit the ultimate on multiple people, it is a lot of CC for a long time. Great way to be able to provide some disengage. So those can be big moments, but it is really difficult to consistently make that happen unless you're a really good on the champion. And I know that for like on a pro level, it is considered a pretty hard counter to things like Nautilus, which is very popular right now. But instead, it is, probably, like I said, going to be the Zillion, could be a flex. I think we'll find out here. I very much agree with you that they do want to save this counter pick top lane for P Huff Zone. Feels very confident in this matchup, especially if he can have priority. So with LeBlanc being locked in here, that's definitely a different look for Whole Grain. I don't think that we've seen Whole Grain Man on this champion this season. That being said, LeBlanc obviously been around for a long time and pretty strong blind pick in the current meta right now. Kind of provides a lot of safety.
Yeah, a lot of safety indeed on this champion, and with this, I kind of expect to see some sort of, yeah, AP artillery mage that
Okay,
comes through
okay,
like
that's a
Xerath.
terrible matchup. Yeah,
It seems pretty, yeah. I
I
mean,
yeah. I played a lot of LeBlanc, I'll say. Like, it's one of my most played champions. I'm not a very high level player, but also, well, anyways, I played a lot of LeBlanc, and I can tell you, Xerath, like the first three levels, like if you do
yeah,
not get a kill, which in competitive is a lot more risky, it starts to just get really, really annoying, really, really quickly because he's just gonna poke you out every single time. So with the Gragas being locked in, though, a lot of AP, I'll say, on the side of Sensei squad. I'd be interested to see if a tank could potentially come out here, especially against Gragas, who is really good at nullifying lane. But on the other hand, if you're gonna save this counter pick, I mean, there are things open. The Tryndamere, which is almost perma banned against zone, is open here. But with that being said, is this kind of a bait? It's hard to tell. So they're definitely talking it out here, really trying to discuss what would be the strongest. And it will be this. I was laughing because it could be Sejuani top still. We have seen Ulveric of TA Knight, rest in peace. May their souls ever rest in peace after losing to Dorado last night. But he was big on this one. So CCS legend Ulveric endorses it. So we'll see as we go into the client draft. But I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Ride Chains? Which one do you think is going to go top?
I mean, it's most certainly Wukong top here. I think. I
Probably,
mean,
probably.
Gragas is a very safe blind pick, and it kind of gives the power here to Predictive. Basically, they have the Wukong picked up, and it's like, okay, do we want to send it top or jungle? They see, okay, it's Gragas. Okay, we think we can punish this matchup, so we'll just pick
Yeah,
a Sejuani and let the Wukong go into the top lane. So
yeah,
I think it makes sense. Wukong is a pick that can snowball very hard if given the resources and opportunity, and Sejuani is known for getting early ganks off, a lot of CC, very good lockdown on one target. So I
yep.
kind of do like this combination in this top jungle, and especially, we know what PGO wants to do here, right? Is just to play around this top lane and get zone ahead. So I like the combination here, and it's going to be big to see what Nicolas can do to actually absorb that pressure.
Yeah, and just the amount of synergy there is between Sejuani and Wukong, like you said, the CC it comes through, but just Wukong's ability to complement the passive from Sejuani, getting that additional stun in because Wukong can just auto and then reset with his Q. So there is strong synergy there. I also Gragas. Is one of those kind of tank top laners. It could also be AP. Gragas, sometimes it's kind of a bruiser, sort of AP in between. But I will say, like, a really good Gragas top player, I think can do pretty well against Wukong, just because if you max the body slam, you can counter Wukong jumping in at you. I'm pretty sure it interrupts. I would imagine that that's the interaction. It is with pretty much every dash forward. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here for Nick Laws to be able to outplay this matchup. But and we know that those are situations that Huff Zone finds himself in. So I think you normally think of Gragas as kind of this passive top laner, but I don't necessarily think that will be the case given the two players that we're going to watch in this match.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be action in this top lane, and I'm excited to see how it goes. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Zone. Honestly, this entire year, um, just very very loud voice, very
Yep.
outspoken in the league. So if Nicholas can put on a show here today in this series, I mean that's gonna be a big statement, especially in game one. Even in game one, if Nicholas can, perform well in the top lane. And I mean, yeah, okay, I guess they picked top jungle, but it could have also been Gragas jungle, I guess. But there's no reason to even mention that because they've already locked in. But yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and that actually was a good point. I didn't even think about that flex. But not going to see it this time. But yeah, I mean, there has certainly been a lot of talk around PGO. I think that now is obviously the time where we're going to see if they can actually follow up on that. But, for Sensei Squad coming in new to the league this season, had one of the most memorable series of the season definitively when they 2-0'd Horizon. And then Horizon kind of continued or proceeded to fall off a cliff after that. So Sensei Squad obviously hit them really hard, and they're a fun team to watch. And like you said, it would be huge for Niklaus to get ahead in the early game, not only for himself but also for this team as a whole. And there, Mossy of Goldfish Gaming, he was awesome enough to do a bunch of player interviews this last week, and he had one that he just released today with Aquatic Bear, the jungler of Sensei Squad, who's the captain of this team, the leader of this team, and someone that we've seen be really impressive. For instance, in that series against Horizon. So I'm excited to see what Aquatic Bear can do. Playing a bear in this game, actually, and having a little bit of early priority. And I just think this is going to be a competitive series. These are two really scrappy teams that we have coming onto the Rift.
Yeah, absolutely. Aquatic Bear's got to make stuff happen in this game. That's the role of a captain. You gotta put the team on your back and
Oh, yeah.
kind of facilitate here. Before we throw it off into a break, I do want to shout out our sponsor, Pro Comps, the first of its kind drafting tool aimed for competitive and solo queue play. If you want some of this analysis that we're giving you right here, you can get it on Pro Comps. It gives the user live feedback and analysis on drafting, giving them recommendations on picks, notes on matchups, and analysis on the enemy team's win cons. These features allow the user to gain an edge on their opponent and improve their drafting skills. It's everything you need if you want to win your solo queue games. So use the code CCS25 for 25% off of your first 6 months. Go get that LP. We'll be right back for game number 1 between PGO and Sensei Squad.
Three, 41, 9, and lift off! No one dies screaming without me. I feel like I forgot to shoot something. You're starting to bore me. She's such a loser, always ready to cry. Ah, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
chilling air is calling, and out there we're free to run and jump and live so wildly. Head first we'll go tumbling through places unknown, with nothing but the stars to light our way. And though the sun may set at night, tomorrow looks so bright. 'Cause home is when you're by my side. No matter what we do, together we'll see it through. And I hope that we won't drift apart, even though things change. Without you, it's not the same. I know it's true. Life's better when it's me and you.
And we are on to the Rift for game number 1 of the Thursday quarterfinals between Predictive Gaming Odin and Sensei Squad. On the red side, Predictive Gaming Odin. In the top lane, P. Huffstone on the Wukong, Charizard in the jungle on the Sejuani, Wholegrain Man on LeBlanc in the mid lane, and then Odd Mitch and Surprise rounding out the bottom lane with the Ashe and the Zillion.
And on the other side, as Aquatic Bear tries to get some poke down in, we do have... They're scrapping. All right. We got Nick Lulz in the top lane for Sensei Squad on the Gragas, Aquatic Bear on the Bear with the Volibear in the jungle, Veneris as they continue to fight on the Xerath in the mid lane. We got Matrix Shadow on the Ezreal, and you know the kid on Renata Glass.
All right, and we are just scrapping all over. Level 1 action coming out everywhere. And you know, Goldie is in favor of Sensei Squad at 1 minute, so you know it's kind of a Goldie that's hard to come back from at this point. So
yeah, devastating.
It might be over. It might be over for PGO here.
Definitely going to be a Spell Thief's Edge diff in this one. But I mean, like, I will say, the poke did go really heavily in favor of Sensei Squad. Sensei got a lot more poke down than PGO was able to. Ultimately, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but sometimes those little bits of HP in that early laning phase can be impactful. And like I said, Wholegrain Man definitely going to want to go pretty much as aggressive as he can in these first couple of levels and shove the Xerath either shove Xerath in, or ideally, you know, just get the level 2 and try to go for some kind of all-in here. And Nick Lulz playing pretty well so far up into the top lane as well. So as these junglers are both sort of pathing towards the top side, we'll see if they do end up meeting. Oh, never mind. What am I saying? They're going opposite ways. Dear God.
Yeah, and, you know, I think just thinking about it, the more I think about it, I mean, Gragas is going to be stronger than Wukong in this early game. Wukong kind of needs those items to scale up, and also Gragas has the sustain with the passives. I mean, you can see Nicholas is happy to take trades in, and he's been getting better of him. He still has 2 pots left, so feeling good on this Gragas in the early game. Does have to be careful of the potential Charizard gank, and they do know that actually is coming due to the fact that Aquatic Bear was able to get a ward on the red buff of Predictive Gaming, so shouldn't come to a surprise to anyone. But here we go into this bottom lane as it's gonna land. Surprise, Thunder Threat does have to flash away, and the heal is also burned by Odd Mitch, so Summoner Spell advantage in this bottom lane for Sensei Squad.
Yeah, and I wanted to point out as well, looking at the item start here from Gragas, did go with the tier first, which is kind of the greed start, in my opinion. So not only pushing the Wukong out of lane early, but even doing it with sort of this, you know, this item start that doesn't really give you any stats at the beginning. But, you know, as you said, does have sustain as long as you can keep chugging those casks with the W. So having you know, the tier right away and building up that mana is impactful.
Yeah, and Nicola's able to get a cheater off, grab a pink ward and a ruby crystal, so he's feeling good right now. He's gonna push back to him. He can try to freeze and basically just kind of choke this Wukong out in the early game. But Aquatic Bears on this bottom side gonna get spotted out by the ward. The kid, oh my lord, going in, does have the passive coming through. The W's gonna come through, but the first blood goes over to PGO as one's gonna fall, but surprise on the backside will fall as well. So all of a sudden it's a 2 for 2 in this bottom lane, but both of the kills go to surprise.
Yeah, okay, so both of them going to surprise. I think Zillion is pretty annoying. I mean, it's not like a tank support getting both of them, but we're gonna get the gank here.
Yeah, Charizard going on here is gonna land that Q, and Nicola's gonna have to flash away. Otherwise, would have been death potentially for this Gragas in the top lane. So good job there by Charizard making the play cross map, and I think either way, Nicola's going in the 1v2, does not even care. But I think all in all, you're gonna be happy with that if you're Sensei squad. And Nicola's is still aggressing, trying to hold this wave. This is crazy. I think this is Ant here, as Sejuani is still in. Stun's gonna come up. One more auto should be enough. The slash comes through. Oh! The tower. The tower. Resets. Look at, the kid is here with the flash. Gonna find the stun onto Charizard as now. Puffstone has to run, is behind the tower.
No mana. Oh, nice.
Charizard and Veneris on the roam is beautiful there. Gonna pick up that kill, and just like that, Sensei squad has the 1 kill lead and is up 700 gold.
Yeah, and I love the rotation there from the kid into the top side. Definitely not expecting that was Huff Zone. So not only was Matrix Shadow just like on a pretty natural back, gonna get back to lane here and not really miss very many CS at all, but also it's Ezreal. So very comfortable to let him sit down there if they needed to for a little bit. But whole grain.
Flash. Okay.
Okay, wow, interesting time to pause.
That is really unlucky there.
Yeah, whole grain is down, so he's down a level. Bummer that he does not have a level 6 for him, because with Ignite still available here, if he did have R, he could just literally press R right now to do another satchel, and Ignite would take it down, but doesn't have it available. None of those minions look very close to dying either, so
yeah, but he's one minion away from actually getting 6, so a little bit unlucky timing. But Veneris still has we're back. Veneris does a barrier, and we'll just use that, and should be no problem there.
Yeah, and I mean, so Veneris does get pretty far pushed out, and with that wave that is pushing in, the downside is, of course, that LeBlanc did not have 6, but the upside is going to force the Xerath into a fairly awkward back there. Does not have the teleport, as we just saw with the barrier being used instead, so whole grain is going to be able to deny some farm here and pick up this as well. But now that Xerath has hit level 6, starting to get some items in his inventory, doesn't have any serious sort of mana regeneration yet, but even as soon as the Lost Chapter starts to come in, that is when Xerath can kind of start to clear the waves, as well as hitting something around level 8 especially, getting another point in probably the W. So that's when it gets really hard for LeBlanc, and you tend to get pushed in, which for LeBlanc is really bad, because whole grain definitely would like to be roaming at this point, and being in Fog of War as much as possible, just to force Aquatic Bear to play around that, and as well as the lanes. But Xerath does a really good job of pushing it in. So we'll have to see if whole grain is able to escape mid and can impact the rest of the map. But no big objectives going down either so far.
Interestingly enough, CS is pretty even all across the board. In the bot lane, though, Matrix is up, about 9 CS, which is very, very interesting, judging from the fact that he was 1v2 for, a good few minutes in this lane. But here we go. It's, the kid is under threat, as whole grain man just gonna walk in, do a little combo, and all of a sudden you're half HP.
Yeah, and when I referenced the interview with Aquatic Bear, and he did talk about Matrix Shadow a lot, and just how dedicated he is to improving his game, and how he was by far the most improved player on this team throughout the split. So it's exciting to kind of see the results of that here, and as you said, playing 1v2 much of this lane, just Ezreal things. And with Aquatic Bear now into this bottom side, I don't know, they might be able to pull off some sort of gank here if PGO does go aggressive. No level 6 yet for the Ashe, but might be difficult to pull this one off.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Charizard is making his way down as well, but I mean, you do have the Stormbringer to take out the tower, but in the mid lane,
Okay.
oh, nice stun coming through there
Ignite up.
from Daenerys, but we'll see what happens. No
He
barrier
does not.
yet. A couple seconds. A couple seconds to come through, but Holgrenman's still looking for it. Ooh, one more ability, but we're diving in the bottom lane as the Stormbringer's going to disable the tower. Odin's just taking very low. Will go down to the kid, and Charizard is chasing. And look at Sensei squad. They're feeling it right now.
Yeah, that was very clean, and they they have drafted this team composition that they've drafted specifically thinking about kind of the Volibear as well as the okay.
Oh my
that came
gosh.
out of the base.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow just headshotting Daenerys. Oh,
Yeah, and okay, yeah, so we did have just a little bit of a kill in the mid lane there. So that's actually really important for whole grain, and just a really good arrow by Odd Mitch and or kind of a lucky arrow to be able to make that one happen. But Sensei squad, with that being said, just a 500 gold lead, but for 9 minutes, that's definitely significant enough to show that they are in the lead right now. And they talked about wanting to take advantage of the early and mid game where they see PGO struggling, and I would agree with that. I think that Charizard has really had a hard time getting off effective ganks this season when I've watched their team, which is quite a bit. So that I feel like personally that's been the pattern also so far in this one. I haven't, not too much of an impact from this Sejuani.
Yeah, I mean, you had the nice kill in the top lane. Okay, Aquatic Bear, and Hearthstone is going to try and sort of cause some shenanigans in this top side, but the numbers are here first actually for PGO. But look at this bottom lane as Odd Mitch could be in trouble, but here we go. Hearthstone taking 1 HP, has to flash away to safety. We'll see as the bite comes through from Aquatic Bear. And now Aquatic Bear sitting at 3-1 and 2, and this Rift Herald should be pretty free for Sensei squad.
Yeah, Rift Herald is going to be taken off of that. So again, just kind of this theme of wanting to snowball the game, which Rift Herald is so big for doing it pre 14 minutes when those turret plates are still available. And they're looking at the mid lane, though, now for Charizard.
Oh, yeah. Glacial Prism not going to land, but they're still going in as the chain finds the mark. Stun under tower is nice. Whole Grain Man. Oh, he's going to go down. Am I delayed?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out if I'm ahead or if you're delayed. But sorry if on the stream I'm ruining everything that's happening. But
yeah,
I'm waiting
really
for a producer to give me some word. I have tagged him on Discord, but you never know with this one. Ludiolo252.
Okay, I think
yeah,
I'm
it looks like
a little bit behind.
You're a little bit, but all right, okay. So I'll narrate for a second. Okay, yep. So they're at the dragon right now, and they're getting it. It's 11:15, and the dragon's going down. All right, and so PGO is going to claim that first dragon. So it will be a little bit of a trade of objectives here, just as I mentioned that objectives were not being taken. Niklaus, though, also just getting a huge trade off there on Hearthstone, taking a really big advantage. And are you still with us, right, Chance?
I think so, yeah. I think I'm good.
Might be. Oh.
Okay. All right, I think we're good. I think we're back.
Okay.
I don't know what happened, but
yeah,
right.
I mean, well, it's pause things. All right. Whole Grain Man.
Now, the kid could be in trouble here as the Ash Arrows are going to slow. Holgren is in the area as the Rihanna ulti's going to come through. Berserk onto 2. Pure Sharp Barrage over the top is not going to be enough damage, but now Body Care is going in. Stormbringer is going to find the stun on to Surprise as the Thunder comes down, but look at the shot from Xerath. Can Veneris find the mark? Low HP bar on Odd Mitch, but the Zillion ulti is used there to repel any sort of damage, and the Herald's going to be spawned up in this bottom lane. This tower is going to go down. Oh my gosh. Aquatic Bear stepped a bit too far and just getting absolutely one-shotted here.
Yeah.
He's gonna get the charge. Oh, tower's alive at 1 HP.
Oh my gosh, it's at 29 HP. Doesn't get the turret, but they still should. Well, I don't know. I mean, probably they'll be able to get it. Aquatic Bear just getting absolutely blown up, and I do not think that he needed to walk up in that situation. I think that you can just sit there. Local gold is pretty generous with the Rift Herald there. So, you know, just going up a little bit too far, and I think it can be deceiving with Volibear because he can like have a lot of HP, how fast he can get blown up by a champion like LeBlanc, who can just cut right through that, no magic resist picked up whatsoever yet. So Odin, man, is starting to get a little bit scary for some of these squishier members of this Sensei squad.
Ooh. Aquatic Bear finding Charizard in this river. We'll see if they go. Yes, Sun's gonna find the mark. Is Aquatic Bear? I mean, Charizard does have the flash. Not gonna use it, but True Shot Barrage is a little bit wide. So Charizard will get out for the time being, but you know, you can see that. Oh, Ogre Man looking for it on to, you know, the kid, but doesn't the W available? We'll have to go back as the Ignite's ticking. I don't think they'll be able to find it here. Veneris is just alt-tabbed or something. I don't know what's going on there. What's gonna find the full combo is on the chase him down and will find the kill. I don't know what was going on there, but nonetheless, you know, kill over to the PGO AD carry.
Yeah, Odd Mitch with the solo kill there, and Odd Mitch is getting jumped on now as well with Aquatic Bear.
Maybe a bit too far as Charizard's in the area now. It's a 2v2 in this red side quadrant of PGO. And Aquatic Bear and, you know, the kid are going to be able to get out, but the bottom tower falls for PGO. So gold lead now increased to 2.5k in favor of Sensei squad.
Yeah, and that was a point I was going to make after after Charizard was poked out there, is even though they weren't able to make any kills happen off of that, I feel like the larger idea there was to be able to just, you know, get the lane pushed up so Matrix Shadow could pick up that first turret gold, which is going to be really big for this Ezreal. But Nick Walls,
oh, we're going to get a big fight in this top lane. It's a 3v2 in favor of PGO, but they're flashing away. Nick Walls going to get stunned up as Hopzone is spinning. Sorry about that. Ultimates are coming over the top. True Shot Barrage not going to land. But the Thunder will come down. And Xerath ulti was also canceled. But look at the low health bars here on PGO. And with 3 members in this top side, you know, Sensei squad could look to just take down this top side tower, as PGO can't really defend it. Their health bars are just too low.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I don't want to cast or curse here. This whole Green Man goes a little bit aggressive, but theoretically, Matrix Shadow should be able to stay fairly safe against LeBlanc. So with no one down bottom lane pushing or anything like that because of the recalls forced, it looks like that turret is going to be taken down by Veneris. So nice for him to be able to get a little bit more gold in his pocket as well. Has managed to finish up the Luden's Echo already. Going to be working into a second item after that. And then also for Ezreal, with the Manamune already almost being upgraded, he's got just you know, looks about like three more stacks, so functionally is upgraded. 1 item done just all across the board for Sensei squad, whereas we still do see just pieces for Hopzone. So we'll see.
Bear could be getting caught here. We'll have to use the Stormbringer over the wall, but Holger Man's still looking for more. Chain's gonna connect. We'll find the root. We'll see if the damage comes through, but the Blast Cone utilized. Does Holger Man have another jump? So chasing. Yeah, we'll flash over the wall with the distortion and find the kill onto Aquatic Bear, but the mid lane push is going to be gotten by Sensei squad. So they'll try to hit this tower, get some damage down. Actually, might be able to take the tower as PGO is just all on the dragon.
Yeah, and that makes it 3 turrets to 0. So even though PGO has picked up quite a few kills, they are in the lead in terms of kills. They're behind fairly substantially in the game.
Oh, that chain was the long. Okay, Glacial Prism is not going to find the stun to Matrix Shadow, but he has to run to the hills. A nice usage of the cast here, but Holger Man's still looking for more. A nice W from Renata to buy some time. Does the kill come through? No, it doesn't, as the shutdown goes over to Surprise, and Matrix Shadow will fall just a little bit too far pushed up in that mid lane. I mean, there's no reason to be there.
Yeah, no, I think that pathing in particular.
Veneris?
Okay.
One more!
Oh,
yes!
dunked on him!
Snipes!
Okay!
Finds the snipe. Veneris locked and loaded in game number 1 and is going to take down Charizard.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to me as we kind of see the developing dynamic of both of these mid laners being really annoying and really a problem for the opposing team, but in totally different ways, just kind of with the poke versus sort of assassin style. So both of these mid laners are going to end up having a lot of agency in saying, having a say at where this game goes. If Whole Grain Man can find some flanks, especially if they can get some vision control, clear out some of those wards, and pick up a one shot on one of the Veneris or Matrix Shadow, that's going to be the key for PGO. But yeah, I'm just really excited to see how this can continue to develop, because both players having a really strong game, even though they're in the same role.
Yeah, absolutely. Both players looking solid here, and they are going to be playing kind of they have different play styles for sure. Matrix Shadow aggressed on by zone as the double bomb comes in, and it is beautiful from Surprise, and now Aquatic Bear's going to get hit in the face with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and a double kill comes through now for the Monkey King in the top lane, and all of a sudden the kills are back in favor of PGO, but the gold is still with Sensei squad.
Yeah, and that's what this PGO composition is built to do. It's to get picks. Pretty much every single champion PGO selected in the draft assists with that. Definitely Wukong brings that team fighting element as well, but the amount of CC that they have on their team is huge. So being able to catch Sensei squad out one by one, and again, just control this vision as they set down these pink wards, around the bottom side river, that is what they need to do if they can, have priority in forcing Sensei into these situations when objectives are up. Then they're going to have a good time in this game. So we're seeing them execute that here, but we'll see how well they can continue to do it throughout this game.
Yeah, and I guess the thing that we need to look at, as this game goes further on, is the scaling potential of both of these sides, right? Obviously, PGO does have the Dragon advantage right now, so if Sensei Squad does want to, come back in that aspect of it, they're going to have to stall the game for, at least another 20 minutes to sort of, delay that soul if they want to get the soul themselves. So my question to you is, which scaling are you liking better?
Yeah, I honestly, that's what I was expecting you to say, and I feel like both of these teams don't really scale. Both of them have scaling, but it's not at the level. All right. Poking them out is pretty big here. Anyways, neither of them scale particularly well, but I think Xerath gets so horrible to play against with the Ezreal because Sensei Squad is just going to be able to draw out this game for as long as they want.
Oh, Charizard on the flank. Glacial Prism's going to land onto Veneris. There's no follow-up from the team as this tower in the mid lane is under siege. It's going to go down, and Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to find the mark as well onto Veneris, but the Stormbringer diving into the back lines. Whole Grain Man looking for him. Flash is coming through. A Surprise going to find the killing spree onto Veneris, and now Aquatic Bear's in trouble in the 1v2 behind enemy lines. 1v3 actually, as Charizard is there as well, and Sensei Squad just pushes too far forward.
Yeah, and it's honestly kind of frustrating to watch because this is just a very disorganized lack of communication happening in this fight for Sensei Squad. As that is a pretty nice Gragas barrel. They are going to take down the turret, but it does kill a lot of the minions. But just Aquatic Bear jumping in after Veneris is caught it doesn't make sense to me. I think they need to peel back in that situation if they can get the Volibear. Okay, though.
Oh, they're going in onto Whole Grain Man. Chrono Break is used. Or Chrono Shift, rather.
Yeah, it just seems like some of them are going in while others are going out, and as True Shot Barrage almost picks it up, they're going to have to play better than that if they're going to win this series. PGO, we can meme all that we want, but when it comes down to it, I think in the serious situations, they do have a pretty heavy amount of synergy in their team fighting. I think that is one of the strengths of their team when they're playing well, and so that is a dragon. So denying the soul point is going to extend the game. And as I was mentioning earlier, only real ones remember when Xerath Ziggs was the mid meta in season 5, and games were consistently going to 50+ minutes. So I think we could, maybe, I don't know if we'll see that now, but they can definitely draw it out with the Ezreal and the Xerath.
Yeah, and I really like Ezreal Xerath just as a combination. A lot of poke potential there. The only thing becomes, you have to be able to play that sort of composition. And a lot of teams that I see are not able to play that composition effectively. You know what I mean? And we've been seeing it here. In that last fight, Veneris getting picked off by standing a bit too far forward. not being able to see not having enough vision to see, flanks coming in. Nicholas should be okay. But yeah, I mean, it seems it's a lot harder to play this poke-centric composition than it seems, especially in duels like this. The kid is going to get absolutely one-shotted here. Nice usage of the locket, but the Ignite's ticking down, and it should just be enough here as...
No.
Oh, Matrix Shadow! Does he go down?
Nope.
Oh my gosh, he didn't go down. The kid stays alive somehow. I don't know how there, and both summoners burned from Wholegrain Man is going to be huge in this next, for this next 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it is going to be huge having the flash. So really, the kid ends up winning out hard on the situation in which he just got so hard burst. And that is what starts to happen with LeBlanc is as the game goes later and later, it does become harder to get that full one shot. So she's going to become a little bit less useful unless you get that perfect sort of flank. But it looks like Aquatic Bear might be in trouble here. We see 4 members of PGO on the top side and 1 lonely bear under the turret. Here comes the team.
Yeah, this looks bad. I mean, they're coming, but nice use of the Stormbringer to dodge out on the CC.
What?
Their chain, wow, connects somehow. The Aquatic Bear, for the time being, lives. Oh, surprise, getting chunked so heavily. We'll use that Chrono Break. He's going to get popped off. Teleport coming in from Nicholas here as Puffzone still just staying on the bot side, and a 700 gold shutdown goes over to Matrix. And that is definitely someone that you want this extra gold on.
Yeah, and Huffzone making the choice not to use the teleport. And I don't really know if there was an optimal angle for it. You definitely would have wanted to be coming from a flank. And now they're going to go after him. But he's going to get away. And so for PGO there, not using the teleport means that they do have it for a future fight. Yeah, so hopefully they'll be able to take advantage of that, maybe trying to force the teleport out of Nicholas if they start up the Baron or something like that, potentially. But going back to a little bit of what you were talking about of, needing to be able to know how to play one of these comps, it really takes a lot of discipline, I think, to play this poke kind of style. You need to be 2 steps ahead of your opponent as far as clearing out vision like they're doing right now, setting down your own so you make sure that you don't get picked like happened earlier. So I'm sure they understand kind of how this is supposed to work, but it's a question of whether or not, again, they can have that discipline to actually make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, just with ease of execution, the composition for PGO is just easier, I would say.
Yeah.
There's less kind of nuances. There's less about having to play perfectly or having to make less mistakes. It's just kind of just running in. Puffzone is going to get it caught here in this jungle. Going to be spinning for the time being as only Ignite used by, the kid there. No other summoner spells at all, but the dragon spawning in 1 minute. You'd like to see these teams take some resets right now and spend their gold if they have it here. Matrix has 1,800 gold in the bank right now. And Wholegrain Man going to secure that top tower. Going to be sitting on 17.5. So a lot of gold to be spent here. And, Matrix Shadow should be backing soon, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You want to be here for this dragon.
Yeah, I would definitely imagine that as well, but did want to clear out the mid lane to make sure that they have that wave priority with it coming up. But if you're not actually there, how much priority can you have? He is going to be out back on his way now, so probably will be able to influence the fight. Plus, he's got the ultimate up in just a few seconds here. So this is, again, a pretty impactful dragon because if PGO can get it, it really gives them a lot of autonomy to be able to force a fight on the subsequent dragon afterwards. So if you are Sensei Squad, I think you just want to, you do want to fight this, but they got to keep in mind as well, it's not worth sacking a 5-for-0 for, if you're going to lose it.
Yeah, and this is kind of the issue, right, with resetting so late is PGO is just...
Yeah.
They've set up their,
Yep.
they're fully set up in this bot side river.
Yep.
And it's so hard for Sensei Squad to walk in here, especially with no blast cone. That might have been a misclick, but
yeah,
Aquatic Bear is gonna have to be going in on that one-way trip if he wants to get in and steal this dragon. So, probably just gonna be a give angle for Sensei Squad on this dragon and, try to fight the soul.
Yeah, and we keep harping on it, but it is that vision priority, which is so crucial for both of these team compositions. And Veneris is caught out again.
Oh, Charizard is a little bit forward. Gonna get CC'd up. Is the teleport now coming in from Huffzone? Enchanted Crystal Arrow finds the mark, but buffered nicely by Matrix as the Locket's gonna buy some time with the shield. Charizard jumping back in his Holgren man, trying to find the one shot on the Kid, but he does have the W available. And it just looks like it is going to be all PGO in this fight. They don't 5 for 0 for the Dragon, but they 0 for 3 after. And PGO turn their sights onto Baron.
Anytime that your Xerath is on the side of your team and also over a wall and, further on the enemy side, it is not going to be a good fight for you as, Veneris just, again, walking too far forward, man. You're playing a champion that has more range wave clear than anything else and, just walking too far forward. So, Nikolals, they do want to try to contest, but I just, there's low health bars. Oh, look at him,
Baron is taken very low. Will be secured by Odd Mitch here. But yeah, I mean, PGO is trying to get away with that Baron just off the back of the dominant team fight that they had previously, and they're in the driver's seat in this game now.
I mean, and yeah, I agree, and quietly as well. Look at P-Hop-Zone 6-2-0 currently on this Wukong, and Wukong always, in my opinion, will outscale this Gragas. That's kind of just the nature of damage v tank matchups, but that's going to be super accelerated with the amount of gold that he has been able to pick up for himself. Already completing the Black Cleaver, which is kind of a crucial part of cutting through these tank and healing kind of champions like Gragas. So it is going to be the Huff Zone in the driver's seat as far as the split push here. Teleport is back up for Nikolals though, so they do have that advantage for a moment, but with the Baron buff, I expect them to go hard on the split, and Veneris is not the ideal answer.
Oh, Charizard aggressive forward. You can see Sensei Squad is waiting in that pocket of vision there. A nice idea, but Charizard is able to get out without any difficulties at all.
Where is LeBlanc? Why? LeBlanc is just...
I think they're trying to
get all
1v1.
three lanes.
Push.
Understand what's happening, but honestly, it looks like what I do in my silver elo games on LeBlanc, and the team's like, "Where the hell are you, man?" And I'm just split pushing the top lane. But
yeah. I don't mind it. I mean, you have Baron. This is where you want to try and maximize. You want to push as hard as you can. Just in general, your Enchanted Crystal Arrow finds a mark on the Kid, but the ultimate from Renata is going to hit a lot, and Stormbringer over the top here. This is looking very, very good for Sensei Squad, as Odd Mitch is going to resurrect. Should be able to just fall right away there. And we'll go down. Another kill going over to Matrix Shadow, but in the top side, the tier 2 is going to fall to Whole Grain Man. And, you can see they're just getting this split push across the map. Only one tower left outside of the base for Sensei Squad, and, that gets taken away right now. So their map is in kind of shambles here, and they have to just sort of turtle in their base.
Yeah, we have come a long way from the 3-turret lead that Sensei Squad did build up in the early part of the game. PGO managing to turn things around, and that is the thing about especially these outer turrets is they are kind of considered standing gold, assuming that you're able to stay competitive in the game. But as far as that last skirmish, I mean, that's as good as you can kind of hope for Sensei Squad winning that engagement. And you can't help but thinking, if only PGO had another person on their team who was joined with them instead of being in the top lane, perhaps they could have turned the fight the other direction. But
but I think that whole play was stemmed off the back of Enchanted Crystal Arrow hitting.
Yeah.
So
no, they opted into
the outnumbered fight, which is a little strange, but
You're right.
I think they just thought they could get a pick there. And now with the Dragon spawning in 40 seconds here, everyone is going to be making their way back down into this bottom side river. Holgren Man trying to loop around, and you can see there the Wukong W going over the wall. It's kind of crazy, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. And I mean, you can just see now that Huff Zone has so much healing. Gragas can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, just pretty dominant in the 1v1 as of now. I mean, obviously 6-2 versus 0-2 is going to be very, very strong. And it is kind of a shame because Nikolals played the early game pretty well.
And he does still have the opportunity to have a really big impact in the team fights. I have been very impressed, actually, by his Gragas ults. I think that's one of the highest skill cap ults in the entire game. And he has been using it for disengage really effectively. So
here we go.
Here we go. Teleports are both up.
Both coming in. as it's going to be a 5v5 in the Dragon Pit for Hextech Soul. Look at this huge flank from Hubzone to the backside, spinning onto 3, as Renato Ultimate is going to buy some time. Holger Man over the top is going to buy the absolute assassination on 1, as Automate's going to find Aquatic Bear, and the entire Sensei squad team is in shambles. It's only Matrix alive, but he's not alive for long, as it is a 5-0 in favor of PGO. They're going to get the Dragon Soul, and they're going to be pushing into the base.
Yeah, and multiple members of PGO just showcasing really strong team fighting in this fight as the dragon does spawn. Hubzone, as you mentioned, getting the flank off on the teleport was absolutely huge. Being able to get the Cyclone off there, but also Odd Mitch has actually just been really big in this game. I don't feel like his KDA reflects, despite that one engagement, I guess, mid, how strong his arrows have been. So props to PGO, definitely sort of playing like the team that is, like a team that is favored in this matchup, falling a little bit behind early, but now just looking like the better team when it comes to these coordinated team fight situations.
Definitely, and now going to be sitting at about an 8,000 gold lead here, going to take away everything from the Sensei squad jungle and just leave them super starved out. A huge play there. Gonna take 2 inhibs, the mid and the bottom lane. So, gonna see them take a reset. They got a lot of gold to buy or to spend with right now.
Yeah,
Go top.
Yep.
Try to end it up.
Yeah, just the one last turret available, and for Sensei squad, we've talked a lot about this kind of poke composition that they put together, and PGO being able to have priority on these objectives has just been huge, because if Sensei squad starts the fight full health versus full health, they're just going to lose it every single time. I think even if they're not behind, it's pretty hard for them. They really need to lay down some poke early, but with this control that PGO has just managed to hold on to over the map, with the Baron being started up, will they be able to make anything happen?
Yeah, this is numbers advantage for PGO, as Nicholas has to be in the bot, but Huffstone again on the backside, gonna find 2-man. Cyclone, and Veneris is just dead. Matrix Shadow is gonna fall as well here. The Renata ulti can't even save you, and it's already 2 dead, and it is the most important 2 dead for Sensei squad. They're still trying to run down more. Surprise is gonna find the kill onto the Kid, and Nicholas and Aquatic Bear are the last 2 remaining, but I don't think they can do anything here, as they are diving the tower. Gonna go golden, but it's just gonna delay the inevitable here, and the Nexus towers are falling. PGO gonna take game 1.
Yeah, PGO, it looked a little rocky at first, as it always does with this team, but they pulled it together, and at the, I would say once they got some advantages in this game, they really took them and ran with them. So that was something that was impressive to see, for sure, for PGO. And I got complimented just earlier. Odd Mitch, I feel like he had a really good game this time on the Ashe, finding a lot of initiation, being doing a lot of damage on the back line, kind of quietly. But for PGO too, speaking of kind of Odd Mitch, being quiet, I think that they've struggled to find an identity in this split. I think that that's been one of their biggest issues. And to me, when they are the strongest is when Huffzone is enabled on these things like Wukong, be able to scale and find those 1v1 advantages. And, he showed the discipline to not die early in the game, and the kind of skill to follow through with the resources that he was able to pick up. So.
Yeah, Odd Mitch looking good. Very crucial with those enchanted crystal arrows here. And, it begs the question, what if PGO didn't int in the early game? I mean, how good would this team actually be? Definitely something to look out for in the, next couple games of this series. But we're going to take a short break. We'll be back for the pick ban for game number 2 of the quarterfinals between Predictive Gaming Odin and Sensei Squad. So don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, everybody, we are back for the pick ban of game number 2. PGO pulling it together in the mid to late game, able to take game 1 pretty dominantly. The story of their lives, a little bit of a sauce early game, but then able to bring it back. So we'll see if we see that again here. And you have to imagine that the games would be so much easier if they just didn't int early.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and we were saying during the break, that's just kind of been the issue all split long for PGO is they do tend to struggle in these early games, and we heard Aquatic Bear say that this week in his interview. And it's definitely true, but unfortunately, it kind of looks like Sensei Squad has the opposite issue going on, where they did have a pretty strong early game. All across the board, really, they were able to find at least small advantages, but then just not able to translate that into anything. And even more so, I would honestly just say kind of throwing it away with some of the engages that we saw Aquatic Bear taking. But as I talk through that, we are already into the draft. We already got some picks coming out here, and it's going to be Wukong Part 2.
Yeah, Wukong first pick for PGO, and they seem to like it in game 1. Sensei Squad gonna respond with a Viego and a Victor, so a little more meta picks coming out for Sensei Squad in game number 2, especially with this mid jungle. I think it's very solid. I like what Viego brings to the table when it comes to early ganks. You have a stun available. Victor obviously is gonna have to take a while to get up into that powered position, but I do like the Viego in this situation, and Victor is going to be facing down an Ari in the mid lane.
Yeah, it is going to be Ari for Whole Grain Man. So I'm interested to see how kind of practiced he is on this particular pick. Um, Ari is something that we've seen heavy in this meta, as the Ezreal is going to get picked up as well. But I really feel like Ari is as good as the player playing it, at least at
Mhm.
this point, after some
Yeah.
changes have been made. You really got to be able to get those picks and hit that charm consistently. But Victor is an immobile sort of mage, so excited to see what Whole Grain can do against Veneris, who's probably looking for some vindication after the last game. There was some struggles. So we'll see what they pick up here. Might see an 80 carry probably, possibly a support, but it will be the Caitlyn coming through.
Yeah, and this is just kind of like the overall rule that I follow when I'm looking at an Ezreal on the other team is sort of pick a champion that is gonna scale just as well, if not better. Jinx is one of those champions. Kaylin scales, relatively well with crit. Vayne, Kaisa, Jins, same kind. Those kind of hyper carry 80 or hyper scaling 80 carries. Um, and I mean, obviously Ash was picked first in the last game. Not my favorite, but I think Sensei Squad does have a better composition even just now than they had in the last game.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Caitlyn into the Ezreal bringing sort of that range and the early advantage. I will say in general, it's not quite as much of a poke team as Ezreal Xerath, but Caitlyn and Victor still kind of a similar situation of needing to have some discipline as far as laying down that poke, and that kind of being the area to gain advantage. So we saw Sensei struggle with that last game. Maybe they can learn from their mistakes this time and have a little bit better positioning and priority on these objectives. So Sensei Squad, we'll see what they, probably going to be last pick top. We can definitely assume. So
Yeah.
Jaxman does come through. This Wukong could be a flex. I'm interested to see if they pick something else flexible as well, but
Oh,
Morgana and Caitlyn, really strong lane. Ezreal has a lot of mobility, but if you do ever get caught out by one of those bindings into the trap, that could definitely spell your doom. So we'll see what they want to pair with the Ezreal to give it a little bit of protection from this Morgana.
yeah, and I enjoy the Morgana Caitlyn Balian a lot, but I mean, like you said, Ezreal should never get hit by a W or a Morgana bind
Yeah,
ever, like in the history of the entire game. So
it's true.
I mean, we'll
But
see.
it
We'll
is a
see what
plat
happens.
league.
Yeah,
So,
we'll see what
well,
happens.
and even in pro, well, everybody makes mistakes, but yes, I mean, theoretically, Oddmit should just be holding the E for in lane at the very least for exclusively the Morgana. So Brand coming in though as the support, and as I said, oh, we need to find some protection for this this Ezreal. Yeah, they're like surprises like I got some protection for you right here. But
I
no, that's a spicy one right there. Into the Morgana is interesting.
Yeah, so a few things to talk about here. Camille gonna be picked up.
Yep.
So it's gonna be Wukong jungle this game, it
Yep.
looks like. Camille into the top lane for Huff Zone, but I mean, this is such a strange pick for me because first of all, you're into Morgana, who has a magic damage shield and a shield that can also block CC, which is basically all of Brand's kit. And this Brand is gonna get one-shotted on repeat, right? You can't hit the Ezreal with the Q, so you go for the non-mobile mage instead, and it should be very easy for Sensei Squad to kill Brand in this lane.
Yeah, and I would be interested to kind of know what PGO is thinking about, kind of, or as what their justification of this pick is. But for me, I can see them I can see the thought that maybe we do want to pick a range support at the very least going into Morgana, just because some kind of CC engage struggles against the spell shield. Plus, you're just going to get poked out in lane, especially with an Ezreal. But like with that being said, there's definitely some middle ground to pick something that has maybe a little, some healing or shielding.
Yumi.
Like yeah, exactly. Just like anything to assist the AD carry and not just have the incidental farm
Yeah.
stealing and kill stealing that Brand comes with. But also like Brand does do tons of damage if he starts to get strong, and there are a lot of squishy members too. In this game for Sensei Squad, which is what Brand kind of thrives in that environment, when his ultimate can kind of one-shot everyone. So, I mean, I guess I'm judgmental of it, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We
I'm
didn't mention.
skeptical, not judgmental. I'm skeptical. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't talk about it, but Poppy is going to be the pick for Nicholas in the top lane to Camille. I think this is a good matchup. Obviously, when you're counterpicking R5, you want to have that good matchup, but Poppy makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Poppy, really, I mean, it makes a lot of sense in terms of just denying what Camille brings, with the hook shot kind of being that major piece of the engage. So as we see, these full team compositions coming through, the Camille makes a lot of sense for me for Huffzone picking that one up. I think this is probably the champion that he is the most comfortable on in a blind setting. And I think that makes sense to me in that Camille can do a lot of things in the 1v1, but also has the ability to sit back and farm a little bit up under turret in order to get to the team fight phase where he can kind of force engages, which can provide a lot of utility with teleport flanks and things of that nature. So I like the engage that PGO has been able to pick up between the Wukong and the Camille. And in the chat, we do see that Surprise said it's Brand or nothing. So holding the team hostage a little bit there, as I also wanted to point out that our graphic has switched the PGO bot laners, but that is, to be fair, because they have switched back and forth multiple times, which, we can talk about that, we can talk about that as well. But so it is Surprise on the Brand, again, holding the team hostage, refusing to pick anything else. He did pick it for himself, their last pick, blue side. So you love to see that from a support player taking a little bit of control.
Yeah, and I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I already kind of expressed my displeasure with the pick, but this is why they play. To prove me wrong, to prove the haters wrong. We'll see what Surprise can do on this Brand, and we'll see if Predictive Gaming Odin can take a 2-game series in this best of 5 against Sensei Squad, or if Sensei Squad will even it up. We'll be right back for game number 2.
Everybody panic! Hold on! I'm about to say something really cool. 3, 41, 9, and lift off! No one dies screaming without me. I feel like I forgot to shoot something. You're starting to bore me. She's such a loser, always ready to cry. Aw, come on. What's the worst that could happen?